The next is where we came to in our sort of three things that I was saying. The first is digital detox. Then the next thing I said is regularity. This is somewhere where I've also changed my mind on. I've doubled down on regularity. There was a study that also came out of that same data set that I described. It's called the UK Biobank data. And now they didn't look at 90,000 individuals, but they looked at 60,000 individuals. And they decided that they were going to compare and split them into quartiles. So the most regular to the second most regular, to then sort of the third most regular, and then the final quartile was those who were the least regular.
And what does regular mean in this context?
Good question. Highly regular individuals, plus or minus 15 minutes in terms of going to bed and waking up at the same time. In other words, a total wiggle room of 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. So if I'm always going to bed at 9 p.m. and I do that 5 days in a row, I'm regular timing, really.
So it's regularity in terms of when you're going to bed and waking up. So you're right, it's timing in a way. But I'll come on to why there is a separate T for timing in just a second. But regularity here was, okay, plus or minus. So let's say you go to bed at 8:45 p.m. one night, and then 9, and then 9:10 p.m., and then you're back to 8. That's beautiful, tight timing. I like that. Whereas those people who were least regular, they were 90 to 120 minutes disparate. They were going to bed, let's say at 11 one night, then 1 a.m. the next night, then they were going to bed at 10:30 p.m., and then they were going to bed at 12:30. They were all over the map. So what they found was that those people who were most regular versus least regular, so they compared the extremes of these two, those people who were most regular had a 49% relative decrease in all-cause mortality. So they were 49% less likely to prematurely die than those people who were least likely to die. They had a 39% cancer mortality risk reduction. Great. They had a 57% cardiometabolic disease risk reduction. So that was stunning. That regularity was incredibly powerful as a predictive signal of your different forms of mortality. That wasn't the best part of the paper, though. They had also measured quantity as well as regularity in these same individuals. So then they decided to say, well, I'm going to take our measure of quantity and regularity, and we're going to put them both in the same statistical bucket and do a Coke Pepsi challenge to see which one wins out in terms of predicting all-cause mortality. We all bet in the sleep field, or at least I did, it was going to be quantity. I was wrong. Regularity beat out quantity in predicting all-cause mortality, and by quite some margin. Now, that doesn't mean that you can now go away and say, I'm going to start sleeping 4 hours, but incredibly consistent 4 hours.